Hi, this is DT Bonnie from Lavinia World, and this is going to be my second card creating with the little snowman, one of the two snowmen that I made previously in another video, which I will have listed below. But this one is super tiny, super cute, and it is made with the Lavinia Stamps bubbles. I just stamped them 3 times and then made them into a cute little snowman. So for this particular card, I created this circle, and then I inked the background with some ink blending techniques. And again, I have a tutorial in Lavinia World that you can, YouTube channel, that you can see how I created the backgrounds doing some inking. I will have that link below also. For this card, I am going to be using this stamp, and this Lavinia stamp is called Fairy House, and it's LAV030. So I have this all set up and ready to go. Basically, I'm going to be putting that on here. It's going to be basically after you do your ink blending, it's pretty much simple after that. You just make your stamp, and after you make your snowman, you just go ahead and stamp your image, your house, your fairy houses on your ink blended background. This one allows for some coloring. I did some coloring on the last one I did with the temple, the forest temple. This one is also going to allow for some coloring. You can see a lot of open space to allow for that coloring. It always works well for this to set for just a little bit so it stamps well. I contemplated doing it more of a grayscale and then being able to color it even more, but I've decided I like the Nocturne ink. I am using VersaFine Clair Nocturne. I use it so much I had it by the re-inker. Let's see how this one turned out. Yeah, needs a little bit more ink. Either that or I needed to leave it down longer. Let's see. It's a really pretty stamp. I think this one is going to call for some more glitter too. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to add that glitter. I like to have some glitter, I think, on this one. Okay, let's see if that one worked this time. Oh, that's so much better. There we go. So for this one, I am not going to, usually I emboss them. I heat emboss them with Clair embossing powder. I am not going to be doing that this time. I'm going to bring that up a little bit closer so you can see how pretty that stamp is. Just really, really nice. And you can see how around the outside, the little dots, I can add a little bit of glitter with that and make this really festive. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pencils together and we'll color this up. Alright, so we're going to get started coloring, and I pulled out some Prisma pencils that I'm going to be using. This one is 911 and it is olive green, and it is the darker color of the green that I'm going to be using. And basically I'm going to put that at the bottom, and it's going to be just shading a little bit of the darker part. And there's a couple of spots in here where it's going to give it a little bit more depth. And I think that's pretty good for that. And then the next color that I chose was apple green, and it's 912. And I'm going to be going up from that. Just gives it a little bit more of a highlight Now if you want more of a contrast, I would pick a darker color to begin with. But I'm just wanting to add a little bit of color. And then the next one I use is the Ginger Root, and it is 1084. And I'm just going to be filling in some of that white space and blending it in. And that's pretty much what the tree looks like. All right, and then the next one, I already did this one. I'll just tell you the colors I did. It doesn't show up very well because it's black and you can kind of see the red in it, but it wasn't worth me really doing for you because you could hardly see it when I was coloring. And that is Scarlet Lake 923, and then I added the Pink Rose 1018. And like I said, it's super subtle. So then for the bases, I am going to be using Burnt Umber, and that's 947. And again, this is the darkest, and so you can see where the artist has already put some of the shading already, and I'm just going to be adding a little bit more to that. And underneath the tree. These spots are relatively tiny, so it doesn't take very long to do it. This one, I don't have the name of it, but it's 945. I've used this one a lot. All right, and then to highlight the rest of it, I am using the Putty Beige, I'm pretty sure, but it's 1083, just to make sure. I'll have all of them listed below just so that you can reference back to them if you need to, if you want to color yours with the same thing. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the other tree as well. I'm using again the 947, and that's just my highlight, or the darkest. And then again the 945. And then the 1083. Okay, so that's for that. And then I wanted to do these two small ones, and I'm going to do those a little bit with some more color. This is Process Red 994, and it's the darker, so it is going to be the shadow. For both of these. And then I'm using the lighter color is Deco Peach, and it's 1013. Okay, I think I'm going to add a little bit more color to that, and I am going to use the Pink Rose, the 1018, or yeah, 1018. What did I say this one was? It's 1013. Wasn't sure if I said 1019 or 1013. It's not going to add a whole lot to it, but it does a little bit to blend it in a little bit better. Okay, and both of those have the bases, and I'm just going to use the 945 because there's just such a tiny amount showing. And I did that, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my gel pen, and this one basically is, it doesn't have a color or anything, but it's a darker gold. And I am going to, these things that all wrap around, if you can see that they look like ribbon that wrap around, I am coloring all of those in slightly. And there's a fair amount if you look closely. Okay, I'm going to turn this on the side. These are really kind of fun, little squiggles. So I think that works pretty well for that. I think I'm going to go ahead and do around the windows too. Okay, let's take a look at that and see what we got. I am gonna, the next thing I'm gonna do is add some glitter. I see a couple spots I missed. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make this whole thing in between. I'm gonna just add the gold. There, so now I'm going to do, like I said, the glitter. All right, pull out the glitter. All right, so I'm going to be using the Cosmic Shimmer glitter jewels, and in order to tell you exactly what it is, I need to put that lid back on. It is the Icicle Sparkles, and it is also available at the Lavinia World store. And you can also get this Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue too with a nozzle like that. So basically all I'm going to do is put a teeny tiny bit of glue on each one of these little dots, and then I'm going to put that glitter on. So, and I actually kind of pinch when I do this kind of glitter. I just pinch it up. Oops. This is the same glitter that I put on the Snowman. So you could actually, if you're doing it all at the same time, just keep that glitter out. And then that's what you get, that pretty little sparkle on there. And then what I'm going to do is, you can see all these teeny tiny dots on the outside. The larger ones, I'm going to use this glue again. Hardly touch the paper with it and put that on. because the dots are so little, I'm just going to do half at a time. And this I'm going to use as the Fairy Hugs Pixie Dust. It is my absolute favorite glitter because it is, you can see through it. And so if you wanted to put it on a color, it would be that color. So I'm just going to be putting it, it'll probably go a little bit on the ones I already did too. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous glue, or glue glitter. You can see, look how pretty. It's just so pretty. You can even see down below. Okay, so that's stuck on that. So now I'm going to continue and put a little bit more dots on this other side where I didn't put any yet. Make sure you can see that. Like I said, just teeny tiny dots. And this, like I said, for the most part, really works well. Give some to that too, even though those aren't the dots. I'm just putting it in some places because I think it needs some. Okay. Let's go ahead and add that to the rest. Okay. You can see all our pretty glitter that's on there. So that would be done with all the decorating. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to put this on the card base and then add our snowman. Okay, so I decided I'm going to be adding this stencil, which is a Lavinia Stamps stencil. It is the Laurel ST008 to the background. It's basically going to be not shown very much, but enough that I wanted the color there and I just didn't want it plain white. So I'm going to be using the Pumice Stone Distress Oxide that I actually used to start with on this. This is like a wash, a Pumice Stone wash on the back, so it's not just plain white. And I'm going to be using my blending brush. And I'm trying to do this from the side so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to come in very lightly because this stencil is a little bit, because it's cut very delicately, you can't do a lot of maneuvering. And plus, we're only really concerned with the outer edges because the circle is going to be covering the rest up. As you can see, it kind of moves. But you want to keep it very stationary. Now, I suppose you could use like a stencil. I think they have like stencil sprays to keep things a little bit more stationary. So in this we could take a peek, and you can see it's very subtle, and it looks like I need to get over a little bit on this other side. I'll probably trim it back, which is okay. I'll take a look again. You can see it's very subtle, but it's exactly what I would want for behind it. I didn't want it to be just stark white. Let's take a look. Yep, just want a little bit more there. Okay, I'm going to hold this in place and rotate. Just wanting you to see how long it really does take. I'm going to rotate that again. I really do like this Pumice stone. It's a very nice neutral color. Let's see how we're doing. Yep, I need a little bit more color. See some there. Okay, I think that's what we're going to go with. I think that's really pretty. Like I said, I'm going to have to trim. I don't know if I can add a little bit to that if I match it up. Let's try. I'm always game. It might not work. I'm going to see what I can do if I just add that little bit. I can cut it off if it looks bad. Because it's not as wide as my paper. My paper is 5.5. But like I said, I can always cut that off if it doesn't look good. It's just like what I used to do for the embossing folders that weren't big enough. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to try this one down here a little bit more. Okay, let's see. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so that is going to go on there. You can see for the most part it's going to cover that up. So it's just giving us a little bit of the subtle, and then we'll get that on a card. Okay, so I wanted you to see I did decide to distress around the edges, and even makes it work even better for that overlap that I did. I used faded jeans to do that because it's something I'd already used on the inking that I had done previously before I even made that card. So anyway, I think that's really pretty, even by itself. Even if you wanted to go ahead and just stamp anything Lavinia on there, it would be really gorgeous. So I have put some foam tape on the back, and this is just going to be centered on top of this card. And that's what that's going to look like. And then I also got my cute little snowman with some foam tape on the back of him. And he is going to set right to the side. So our whole reason for making this card was this little cute little snow guy. So there you are, we're finished. You could actually, before you even put this on, you could have stamped Merry Christmas or warm winter wishes, anything you wanted to do to complete your card. And you could even add more glitter around it. There's lots of things you could do. But I hope that inspired you so that you might create something like this. It'll be kind of fun. Share if you want to anytime down below in the comments your links to things that you are making. I'd love to see them. So again, thanks for stopping by. And please share, or if you can, also subscribe. And come back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because the DT make wonderful tutorials for you to get some ideas. Thanks so much.